I'm curious about why you started SoulPlay in the beginning.
I was going to a lot of events, going to a lot of different festivals, which were amazing, by the way. And what I noticed is that at the workshops that I would go to, there was this quality of presence that would get developed in the field after a few days of spending time together, doing work on ourselves, introspecting, different sharing, and kind of going deep into ourselves. There was this quality of presence that happened, and this quality of interaction that happened that for me was all the magic in the world. I wished that could be how I live all the time, that's how all my interactions could be. But I was a little bit challenged with how serious everything felt. Like at the workshops, it was all very structured and serious, and kind of like there wasn't very much time to just interact and play once that field had been created. Everything was kind of according to the program. And at the same time, I was going to all these festivals, grand celebrations of art and creativity, and also super powerful experiences, incredible fun. But that quality of interaction, that quality of presence from the workshops, I felt was lacking. There was this kind of frivolousness. People were always high or drunk, and it was amazingly fun, and kind of a little bit missed the mark on the depth that I was looking for. And so SoulPlay was created. It was really under the premise of, can we create an environment that is both fun and open and free flowing, but also carries that incredibly deep and present quality to it, where everyone interacts with one another from a really grounded, centered place, and the connections that are formed are real and deep and immediate. And so that was kind of the going premise. Like, can we create that world? My goal and my vision is that all of our interactions and kind of way of life outside of the festivals can have this quality to them. Like, the hypothesis is that is possible, that it's actually possible to consistently live in a world where we are embodied and treat each other with respect and come at each other with curiosity, so that we connect in this way and play in this way in our day-to-day lives. And SoulPlay, in a way, it's a training lab for those who are daring and willing to take on this new paradigm, but then actually go out into the world and practice it. So the goal was never to just create a closed container where this can happen only during an event. The goal was, can we create an event that helps teach us how to be outside in the world?
Most people go to festivals with this hidden belief that, oh, I'm going to have a transformative experience, and then things are just going to go back to normal, right? That's the default view. And I hear you challenging that. Yep. So I'm asking you, is it possible to create an enduring change or a cultural shift? And what's your experience been of that?
So I believe it is absolutely possible to create a cultural shift. And I think some of the things that I've learned are that part of the reasons that people don't believe that it's possible to sustain that way of being, or when they go to a festival, they just think that it's going to go back to normal life, because that's been their experience in the past. A lot of it has to do with I find the setup of these grand events where there is big art and extravagant environments, and people are also taking lots of psychedelics or other substances that help them see the world in different ways and in colorful ways and open up perspectives, which can all be super fun. But eventually it's not sustainable. Like, we don't actually live. I'm right now in Oakland, California. I'm looking out the window and I don't see any giant works of art outside my window. I see a bunch of traffic. One of the things that at SoulPlay we do is we try to emulate an environment that can then be recreated back home. So an environment that doesn't have any grandiose special effects to it, where it's just humans meeting humans. That's changing is mindset. It's not any kind of extravagant external environment. Once people have experienced kind of in their body a real felt sense of alignment with self, centeredness, groundedness. And then they've felt themselves interacting in a community from that place. And the connections that they establish are real and deep and meaningful. And people have the somatic physical experience of walking around for several days in this container. And there's no external aids, no drugs, no enhancements, no extravagant art. There's nothing external to them other than a shift in mindset and a commitment, a community commitment to show up in this way. That's creating this. And so I feel that the more people understand that that's possible, the more, the change, we do actually see the change out there in the world.
It's powerful. It's really powerful. Like I agree how change happens in community, and we're like taking our cues from all the people around us. So when we go in a community container and everyone is dedicated to change, we go so much further than we could possibly go alone. So it's a special thing that's being created. I'm curious if you can think of any examples of a person or a moment or an experience of this that can make it really like visceral and grounded for someone who's listening and wants to get a sense of what this is like.
It really always hits home when we arrive at the closing ceremony. I distinctly remember one closing ceremony, and I was so touched by this grand occurrence, by this people, the amount of people willing to just come and open their hearts. And I remember myself crying on the back of the stage. And I think this was also the year where I got up on stage at the end, and I think I called my dad up to the stage, who was there helping. And my dad came up and he was crying and I was crying and we were all crying, and the whole audience of 400 people were witnessing us in embrace, and they started crying.
Wow.
And I feel like that moment was really huge for me. It was both personally a moment where I felt like I was able to honor my father in a way that I maybe don't always honor enough. And there was a way that I was able to honor him in public in a way that was very gratifying to him. And I was like, just love that I got that opportunity. But then I also feel that for the audience, this was a moment that it was reflected to by many people afterwards that was very healing for a lot of people, and kind of hopeful that this can happen in the world.
Yeah.
That this type of father-son relationship can happen, this intergenerational relationship, that there is a world in which this gets passed on from generation to generation, and we pass on love and honoring and gratitude. It
takes courage to do this stuff, and not just to do it, but then to lead a festival, to lead other people into it. It takes courage, man. SoulPlay creates an environment where people can open up and be open-hearted and connect deeply. And you guys have been doing this for years and years of practicing how to create that environment. So how do you create an environment that's safe enough and supportive enough that people can really open up?
I think the number one priority, and something that's always been one of our guiding principles from the very beginning, has been creating an environment that feels safe. How can you create an environment that is safe enough to encourage people to take risks? It's kind of a paradox, because growth and expansion and all the things that we are aiming for don't come from sitting around in one's comfort zone. They do come from risk taking. And so it's always been our designing principle: how can we both encourage risk taking and create the safety at the same time? We do this. We have lots of ways in which we do this, but some of the ways that as you arrive at registration, I'll tell you what you will not do. You will not arrive and face a really long line, which at the end of which you arrive and kind of talk to someone on a computer that ends up doing a bunch of logistics. That is what will not happen. What will happen is, first of all, you arrive to warm embraces and warm hands welcoming you into the space. You then get, first of all, you get then a taste of SoulPlay by kind of, we might batch you together with a few other people that arrived randomly at the same time and do a little circle, some shares. Potentially you'd be asked to share one of the questions that you will have received on the way over while you were driving. You will have received from us probably an email with some questions to contemplate and maybe speak about with the people in your car. So right from the start, we're getting people to connect, to get out of their comfort zone, to arrive in this place. You then might go over and get some snacks and beverages provided by our awesome sponsors, always free of charge. After that, we're going to kind of take you through a little mini workshop on what we mean by consent, which I'm not going to go into right now, but we'll take you through kind of some of our cultural norms and policies around consent and how to interact with others at the festival. Only then might you actually get to a person that will need to like take you through kind of boring logistics of wristbands and where you're going. But by that time, you're fine. And so the point is we spend a lot of energy and time thinking about how to invite you into the SoulPlay experience. We also support your experience and help to create safety by one, having policies around presence. So one of our big tenets of our policies are making sure that people are sober. This is a 100% sober event. No drugs or alcohol are allowed, and we mean it. And that in itself creates a lot of safety for exploration, because you know that everyone that you interact with is coming from a place of presence. You can trust the mindset that they're in, and they can trust the mindset that you. And I'd like to be clear, we are not advocating for people to choose to be 100% sober in their lives. I think there's many benefits to experiencing psychedelics in all sorts of different ways. I just think that it's not as beneficial at SoulPlay for the type of experience we are trying to.
My sense is in a multi-day transformational container, people are going to experience altered states of mind without the use of drugs.
100%.
And it's because you, like, when you get into such a unique space where the intent is to transform, suddenly you're not playing out the old social scripts. And so you start to get more present to the moment, and you start to experience things differently. And then things get really interesting. Mm-hmm. I'd love to hear your experience. If you could describe at the festival what it's like to be there.
It's amazing, is what it's like. It is. I mean, for me, SoulPlay is first of all, it's just walking around, so grateful and so open to what the world has to offer, so excited to come across anybody that kind of walks, that crosses my path. It's really, there's no feeling like it for me. Oh man, historically, we had one on Sunday afternoon, right before, it's like, I don't know, it was like 3 o'clock, right before the closing ceremony. We'd have this epic pool party. There was a DJ, and our pool parties are notoriously fun. One thing to know is that pool at SoulPlay is clothing optional, and most people opt for the optional part. So for the most part, it's a big naked dance party at the pool, which for a lot of people is a first. Not many people outside of SoulPlay have experienced a full naked party with like 100, 200 people. And it's just the most, hopping, dancey, like people in the pool splashing. We used to have these blow up unicorns that we'd jump on and kind of do unicorn fights. We would get these water guns and have water gun wars. And it's just a time where everyone at their most open, most kind of after a weekend of inner work and connection and grounding and self-discovery, it's this place where people let their true inner child come out and play. It's just this epic occurrence of play.
That sounds amazing. I
Because they
look
were so
forward to
good,
it.
we started adding more to the program. So, because we just couldn't stand the fact that we only had one at the end. So we still have the one at the end, but now I think we have at least one more, sometimes two. So there's kind of one every day because it's just too good. It's really the best.
We treat festivals as entertainment and a luxury, but human beings need connection and need community and need togetherness. And I see SoulPlay as a really safe, intentional, like you guys are doing it with style. Yeah.
I agree. I think we should try to apply. We could make SoulPlay free if it would be kind of government sponsored. And we can make it free for the people, and the government would pay for it, and we could just make it free for everybody. It's free education. That would be great.
Yeah. If there are any government people out there who are watching this, take note. This is your next social transformation project.
Yeah, or at least some, big philanthropy. I think maybe there's some, we just need to get to some large philanthropists that maybe also believe that spreading more embodiment and communication in the world is a nice way to better the world.
I think it's new. I don't see other festivals doing this. And I think what you're leading is really important. So keep at it.